Hello crochet crafters. Today we're going to make an applique heart that you can use for any of your cards. I had a stencil, so I've got kind of a unique love card here, 3.5 by 5.5. I typically use a size 2 US crochet hook and a 2-ply yarn to make that card. But today, for tutorial purposes, I'm going to use a 4-ply yarn and a 4 size E US hook. And let's get started. Go ahead and get your yarn onto your hook, whatever size you're using. And then I'm going to use a chain 2 method. So I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2. If you're comfortable using a magic circle, you can certainly do that too. Within that first chain, I'm going to do 9 singles. So I'm going to do my first single, which is 1. And I'm going to do a second one. And I'm going to go ahead and do 9 of those right now. 2, 3, 4, and if you can work your tail in, go ahead. 5. I'm going to go ahead and do that. 6, 7, 8. I've got most of my tail worked in. If you can't, you can always cut it or work it in afterwards. So you should have 9. And then you want to slip stitch to the back and the front loop to the very first one that you began with. So you should have 9 stitches, and in that not the one you slip stitched in, but the next one, you're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So in the next stitch, please do 2 single crochets, and then in the stitch after that, it's working in the same stitch. You're going to do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. 1, 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch, working in both the front and the back loop. And we're going to do another double crochet in that stitch. And then the next stitch up, we're going to do a triple, treble, whichever you want to call it, but you wrap it around your hook twice. So you've got 3, you've got the one that your hook is in and then 2 wraps. You're going to put it in the next stitch, front and back loop, wrap it around, pull it through the first 2, wrap it around, pull it through the second 2, wrap it around, pull it through the third 2. We're going to do 2 more of those, so there'll be 3 total treble stitches into that same stitch. So it should look something like that. Then you're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch. And then you're going to slip stitch over to the next stitch. And right now it should look something like that. And in that next stitch that you slip stitched, you're going to do 3 trebles. So it might be a little bit hard working it back in there. I understand if you have to do it a few times. Sometimes I have to do it a few times because it's awkward pulling it back. And especially if I'm working with a 4-ply yarn. So I did my first treble. I'm doing my second treble. And now I'm doing my third treble. And now after that, you're going to do in the next stitch, you're going to do a double, and you're going to do 2 doubles in that stitch. I don't like my tail where it is right now, but I'm going to cut it. Then after that, you're going to do 2 half doubles in the next stitch. 2 half doubles. So it should be looking something like that. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to do 2 singles. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to do a single. And then I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the other. And basically, I can work I'm going to just slip stitch back over here. And basically, that's really an easy heart. Although I don't like the way my tail ended up right at the top of my heart, I'm going to go ahead and cut that off now because that's going to be an applique for something. But basically you don't have to slip stitch up there if you don't want to either. I don't like the way that looks. So you basically just cut that here and you pull it through. And you basically have a little applique heart for any of your greeting cards. Thank you so much for watching. Please follow me on Lori's Handiwork at YouTube or visit me at Etsy at Lori's Handiwork. Thank you very much.